Good, happy Wednesday morning, April 29, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's begin. First up, no new COVID-19 deaths reported in New Hampshire for third day. 82 new positive cases, 3 hospitalizations announced. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Chapel Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and grandfather George decided to...
New Hampshire now has more than 2,000 known cases of COVID-19 as the U.S. crosses more than 1 million cases. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Vaughn.
And I'm Mike Cherry. New numbers just released by New Hampshire's Health Department show that 2,010 cases of COVID-19 are in the Granite State since the pandemic began. There are no new deaths to report. Fatalities holding steady at 60. 936 people have recovered.
Nationwide, Johns Hopkins University says cases have crossed 1,008,000. There are more than 57,000 deaths. That's nearly a third of those occurring in New York City. More than 115,000 people have recovered.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. Let's take a look. There are 2,010 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,011,600 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 60 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 249 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 58,343 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire right here shows you where cases of COVID-19 are in towns and cities of New Hampshire. In Sandwich, 1 to 4 cases of COVID-19. This chart here, new cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red are the deaths. Your current cases. Total current COVID-19 cases. In orange, current hospitalizations. Cumulative totals. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. And in the blue, recovered. This chart here shows you by age group. This chart here shows you by female and male. And risk information. This chart here, race/ethnicity of cases and percent of New Hampshire population. And your common symptoms, fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. Be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. State could slowly ease some stay-at-home restrictions, Sununu says. Hospitals might be allowed to resume electric procedures. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Let's pray.
As we all hunker down in these tough times, there's still work to be done, and Mahindra is here to help.
Massachusetts and Maine are extending their stay-at-home orders well into the month of May. New Hampshire's order expires on Monday, May 4th. Governor Chris Sununu says his office is working on a flex order that will likely continue aspects of stay-at-home while allowing hospitals to resume elective procedures and potentially loosening restrictions on other economic sectors as well.
By Friday, I think we'll be able to have an announcement that identifies some of those areas, the new guidance documents that goes with that, and maybe even some flexibility with our stay-at-home order. And then we'd roll that out over the period of a couple weeks. It doesn't mean that all goes into place the next day, but over a couple weeks.
The governor says that gradual approach will allow state public health officials to more closely track the effects of easing restrictions on the spread of COVID-19.
And if we start seeing a trend in a negative direction, something that is clearly the result of us flexing out too fast or a business not adhering to certain guidelines, we'll be able to move in the opposite direction very, very quickly.
While the governor is trying to find safe ways to restart the state's economic engine, he says the danger from coronavirus is still the same.
Again, you are healthier at home. That does not go away. No matter what we do with businesses and the stay-at-home order, you are absolutely healthier at home, and we want people to really adhere to that as much as possible.
Now, the governor is emphasizing that while these cautious initial kind of baby steps will be taken, he says that this is going to be a very gradual process in the weeks and months ahead. Reporting live in Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State trooper dragged by truck during traffic stop in Taunton, Massachusetts. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB, Boston.
You must be Steven's phone.
Know who's on your network and control who shouldn't be with Xfinity XFi. Simple, easy, awesome.
A close call for a state trooper in Taunton. He was dragged by a pickup truck. State police telling us tonight that the trooper was standing next to the truck that he had just pulled over near a mobile gas station on Route 140, right near Route 24. And that's when the driver took off, dragged the trooper a short distance. The trooper is okay tonight and back on the job. Police are still looking for the driver.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Governor Mills extends stay-at-home order while unveiling fourth-stage plan to reopen economy. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Giving the class of 2020 recognition they deserve. Channel 8 Senior Shoutouts.
Governor Mills is asking anyone who can work from home to continue to do so. Gatherings are limited to 10 people. Out-of-state visitors must quarantine for 14 days. And if you're somewhere where you can't keep physical distance, you must wear a mask.
As other states experience widespread, devastating outbreaks, we cannot afford to let down our guard.
In addition to groceries, pharmacies, and gas stations, starting Friday, hair salons and pet groomers can reopen. So can car dealers and car washes. Hunting, fishing, and golf, with restrictions, are okay. Inland state parks will reopen. But no retail stores, restaurants, or gyms can reopen until June.
We're not flipping a switch today from closed to open. We are adjusting the dials, easing some restrictions while adding others.
Maine is now ahead of the pack in New England state's stay-at-home orders. New Hampshire's runs to May 4th, but Governor Chris Sununu says it won't go away then. Rhode Island's governor hopes to lift her order May 8th, but Vermont and Massachusetts have committed to longer quarantines, with exceptions for some businesses. The pressure has been growing on Mills to roll back restrictions, not only from protesters outside her residence, but also from the Retail Association of Maine, 85% of its members saying they can ensure the safety of customers and employees. Auburn Mayor Jason Levesque telling her his city is at an emotional tipping point over restrictions. But in Maine's largest city, consensus. Portland City Council voting yesterday to extend its stay-at-home order to May 18th. Governor Mills has said she wants to save the summer tourist season, but her plan prohibits out-of-staters from booking lodging or attending camps until July. And that's assuming there's no spike in new coronavirus cases. In Augusta, Phil Hirschkorn, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dow futures point to a gain of 250 points ahead of the Fed decision. Stock futures rose in early morning trading on Wednesday as investors looked for guidance for the Federal Reserve on the future path of interest rates, with a gradual reopening of the economy in sight. Airlines changing policies as travelers in numbers rise. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Image you saw last night here, that packed flight from New York to North Carolina, one major airline tonight now taking action. Here's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, as TSA passenger numbers slowly rise, airlines are changing policies. JetBlue will require all passengers to wear a mask on a plane, the first major U.S. carrier to do so. Reporters asking President Trump today whether he's considering making masks mandatory on all flights.
Sounds like a good idea. To me, sounds like a very good idea.
This after a video went viral showing a nearly full American Airlines flight from JFK to Charlotte, many passengers not wearing masks. Erin Strine recorded the video. She was flying home after her grandmother's passing. What was this experience like? Because you get on this plane and you were surprised to see so many people.
It was shocking, to say the least, and it was the first time that I felt truly unsafe.
Americans saying it will block half of all main cabin middle seats and will provide passengers masks, but the passenger decides whether to wear them. United saying it will try to leave one seat empty next to each passenger, Delta blocking middle seats. Airlines hit hard by the pandemic. Air travel in the U.S. is down by 95% compared to this time last year. But for those who are flying, the head of the largest flight attendants union wants everyone in the air and on the ground wearing a face covering.
From the airport door to the airplane door, on the airplane, and then back out through the airport, we want people wearing face coverings in all those areas.
And David, the president says he's looking at possibly testing international travelers for the virus before they fly into the U.S. He says that decision is coming pretty soon. David.
All right, Gio.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.